Memphis, Tennessee, Graceland, August 18, 1977. The most famous driveway in America was lined with thousands of mourners. Presidents, movie stars, music legends, all come to say goodbye to Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. But if you looked closely at the funeral footage, you'd notice someone missing. Someone who should have been in the front row. Someone who knew Elvis better than anyone. Priscilla Presley, his ex-wife, the mother of his child. The woman who shared his bed, his dreams, his darkest secrets for over a decade. She wasn't there. The world was told she was too overcome with grief to attend, that seeing Elvis in a casket would be too painful. But that wasn't the real reason. The truth is far more heartbreaking, and it starts with a phone call. A phone call that happened just 3 days before Elvis died. A conversation that changed everything. This is the story of why Priscilla Presley couldn't say goodbye to the love of her life, and the promise she broke that haunted her for 40 years. August 15, 1977, 11:30 p.m., Graceland. Elvis couldn't sleep. He'd been having trouble sleeping for months. The pills weren't working anymore. The loneliness was eating him alive, so he did what he always did when he couldn't sleep. He called the one person who always answered, even after the divorce, even after all the hurt. Priscilla. She was in Los Angeles, getting ready for bed, when the phone rang. She knew it was Elvis before she even picked up. He only called this late when he was really struggling. Scylla? His voice was different, weaker, sadder than she'd ever heard it. "I'm here, Elvis. What's wrong?" "I can't sleep. I keep thinking about everything. About us, about Lisa Marie, about what I've done with my life." Priscilla had heard this before. Elvis in his dark moods, questioning everything. But this felt different. This felt final. "Elvis, you've given the world so much. Your music. My music," Elvis interrupted. "What music? I haven't written a real song in years. I just show up in Vegas, wear the same costume, sing the same songs. I'm a joke, Scylla, a fat Elvis impersonator." "Don't say that. I'm dying, Scylla. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I'm dying inside. Have been for years." The line went quiet. Priscilla could hear Elvis breathing heavily. She'd never heard him sound so defeated. "I need to ask you something," Elvis said finally. "And I need you to be honest with me." "Okay. Do you think Lisa Marie will remember me? I mean, really remember me? Not the Elvis from the magazines or the movies. Me, her daddy, the guy who used to read her bedtime stories and take her riding around Graceland on the golf cart." Priscilla's heart broke. "Elvis, of course she'll remember you. You're her father. She loves you. But what if I die before she's old enough to really know me? What if all she remembers is this version of me? The sick version. The version that can barely get through a concert without popping pills." "You're not going to die, Elvis. You're only 42. You just need to promise me something, Scylla."
"What?"
"If something happens to me, if I don't make it, promise me you won't bring Lisa Marie to my funeral." Priscilla was shocked. "Elvis, why would you?" "Promise me. I don't want her last memory of her daddy to be me in a coffin. I want her to remember me alive, laughing, playing, being her daddy." Priscilla started crying. "Elvis, please don't talk like this. Promise me, Scylla, please." She was quiet for a long moment. Then, through tears, "I promise. And promise me something else." "What?" "Promise me you won't come either." "What?" "Elvis, I can't have you see me like that. Dead, defeated. You've seen me at my worst, but not like that. I want you to remember me the way I was when we were happy, when we were young and everything was possible." "Elvis, I can't promise that. If you die, I need to be there, to say goodbye, to what? To apologize? To tell me you forgive me?" "Scylla, I already know. I know you forgive me, and I forgive you. We don't need a funeral for that. But Elvis, promise me. Please, this is the last thing I'll ever ask you." Priscilla was sobbing now. "Okay, I promise. I love you, Scylla. I always have, even when I was too stupid to show it. I love you too, Elvis. Take care of our little girl." "I will." "Goodbye, Scylla." The line went dead. Priscilla held the phone for 10 minutes, hoping he'd call back. He never did. 3 days later, at 3:30 p.m. on August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley was found dead in his bathroom at Graceland. Heart failure. He was 42 years old. When Priscilla got the call, she collapsed. Vernon Presley, Elvis's father, was on the line. "Priscilla, honey, Elvis is gone." She couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. The man she'd loved since she was 14 years old was dead, and the last thing he'd asked her to do was stay away from his funeral. "Priscilla, are you there?" "I'm here, Vernon. The funeral's in 2 days. We need you here, you and Lisa Marie, your family." Priscilla thought about her promise, about Elvis's last wish, about 9-year-old Lisa Marie, who didn't even know her father was dead yet. "Vernon, I can't come to the funeral." "What?" "Priscilla, this is Elvis, your husband, ex-husband, and he wouldn't want me there." Vernon was confused. "What are you talking about? Of course he'd want you there. You're the mother of his child." But Priscilla had made a promise, and even in death she couldn't break it. The next 48 hours were the hardest of Priscilla's life. She had to tell Lisa Marie that her daddy was dead. She had to explain why they wouldn't be going to the funeral. She had to lie. "But why can't we go say goodbye to Daddy?" Lisa Marie asked through tears. "Because Daddy wouldn't want us to be sad. He'd want us to remember him happy. But I want to see him one more time." Priscilla held her daughter close. "Me too, baby. Me too." On August 18, 1977, as the world watched Elvis's funeral on television, Priscilla and Lisa Marie sat in their Los Angeles home, grieving alone. Priscilla watched the footage of celebrities and fans filing past Elvis's coffin. She saw Colonel Parker, the manager who'd controlled Elvis's life. She saw the Memphis Mafia, the guys who'd enabled his drug addiction. She saw everyone except the 2 people who'd loved him most. For years, people criticized Priscilla for not attending. They called her cold, heartless. They said she didn't really love Elvis. The press had a field day. Priscilla snubs Elvis's funeral. Ex-wife too busy for goodbye. But they didn't know about the promise. They didn't know about Elvis's last wish. They didn't know that Priscilla was honoring the man she loved by breaking her own heart. The guilt aided her for decades. Every August 16th, she wondered if she'd made the right choice. Every time someone asked her about the funeral, she had to bite her tongue. She couldn't tell them the truth without revealing Elvis's final, most private moment. In 1997, 20 years after Elvis died, Lisa Marie finally asked her mother directly, "Why didn't we go to Daddy's funeral?" Priscilla looked at her daughter, now 29 years old, a mother herself, and made a decision. It was time for the truth. "Your father called me 3 days before he died. He made me promise something. He made me promise that if anything happened to him, I wouldn't bring you to the funeral. He didn't want your last memory of him to be that." Lisa Marie was quiet for a long moment. Then she said something that changed everything. "Mom, I'm glad you kept that promise. I'm glad my last memory of Daddy is him teaching me to ride a horse, not seeing him in a coffin." For the first time in 20 years, Priscilla felt peace. She'd done the right thing. She'd honored Elvis's final wish, even though it cost her everything, even though it made her look heartless to the world. But there was more to the story. Something Priscilla had never told anyone, not even Lisa Marie. 3 days after the funeral, Vernon Presley called Priscilla again. "Honey, I found something in Elvis's room. A letter. It's addressed to you." Priscilla flew to Memphis that night. Vernon handed her an envelope with her name written in Elvis's familiar handwriting. Inside was a single page. "Scylla, if you're reading this, then I'm gone and you kept your promise. Thank you. I know how hard it was. I know people will judge you for it. But you did what I asked, and that means everything to me. I'm sorry for all the pain I caused you. I'm sorry I wasn't the husband you deserved. But I need you to know, you were the love of my life. You and Lisa Marie were the only real things in my world. Everything else was just noise. Thank you for loving me when I couldn't love myself. Thank you for giving me the most beautiful daughter in the world. And thank you for letting me go with dignity. I love you both forever. Elvis." Priscilla read the letter 17 times before she could stop crying. Elvis had known he was going to die, and he'd wanted to protect her and Lisa Marie from the pain of seeing it happen. For 40 years, Priscilla kept that promise. She never publicly explained why she didn't attend the funeral. She let people think what they wanted to think. She protected Elvis's final wish, even when it made her the villain of the story. But now, at 78 years old, Priscilla finally feels ready to tell the truth. In recent interviews, she started opening up about that final phone call, about Elvis's last request, about the letter he left behind. "People thought I was cold for not going to the funeral," she said in a 2022 interview. "But the truth is, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. I wanted to be there. I needed to say goodbye, but Elvis asked me not to, and even in death I couldn't say no to him." The story of why Priscilla didn't attend Elvis's funeral isn't a story of coldness or indifference. It's a story of love, the deepest kind of love, The kind of love that sacrifices everything, even your own need for closure, to honor the wishes of someone you can't live without. Elvis died knowing that the two people he loved most would remember him as he lived, not as he died. He died knowing that Lisa Marie's last memory of her daddy would be joy, not sorrow. And he died knowing that Priscilla loved him enough to break her own heart to keep a promise. Some goodbyes are too painful for words. Some love is too deep for public display. And sometimes the greatest act of love is knowing when to say goodbye. The music is bigger than any of us, but the stories are what keep the music alive. Subscribe for more. Hit like if this touched you. And remember, behind every legend is a human who loved, who hurt, who tried, just like you, just like me. Thanks for watching.